Welcome to the Nerd Party.
Welcome, everyone, to Aggressive Negotiations, coming at you from Utapau, where the plains are beautiful and the ditches are really, really deep. And hopefully you can hear us. I'm not alone, as you know, because with me, as he is always, the most wonderful Jedi Master in the universe, John Mills.
I'm not the most wonderful. Most powerful, sure. Worst smelling, possibly. But, these are all things. It's important to be humble. But the thing is, I think more, every time I think about Utapau, right, I always think about how cool it would have been because, like, the design of Utapau has roots in Episode 1 when they were envisioning the pod race. How cool would it be to see a pod race on Utapau? Like, you have to go, like, up and down one of those giant sinkholes.
Oh, that would have been crazy.
I want to see something where that happens. Yeah. I really do. This is my plea for that.
That would have been super crazy. Like,
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, and then, I mean, the only time you see a battle or something take place so vertically is in the Clone Wars movie, too. On Teth, you know?
Can you imagine, like, a Battle of Teth thing, but they got to go down instead of up?
Oh, that would be awesome.
Wouldn't that would be crazy.
Oh, man.
That would be so incredibly, like the taking of Utapau.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh.
Absolutely. No, I love that. Anyway.
I think that's an animated short that they could have.
It really
bring back the Clone Wars.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please bring back the Clone Wars. You know what, John? Before we get going, I just want to remind everybody, you can find us all over the place online. We are on Twitter at the Jedi Masters. That's our show handle. And then the network here is at Join Nerd Party. So either one of those places that you can connect with us. And we'd love to hear from you about what you're thinking about Star Wars, or maybe if you just have a random question. So let us know. You can also find us on thenerdparty.com. We're on Apple Podcasts, of course. Great place to give us a star rating and review. We'd love to have a reason to shout one of those out. So go over there, give us one, help other people find the show, and share us on the social media. If you're on Facebook and you see our show being shared at facebook.com/thenerdparty, man, share our show. Let us know what you thought of it, too. Comment on that. We love talking to fans. I mean, John, I think anytime somebody says anything on there, we say something back. So...
yeah, we do. We try our best. And we've gotten the occasional compliment, and we very, very, heartfelt appreciation for any kind words that you guys have had for us. It's really very much appreciated.
And the last place, if you would like to send us an email, you have something more private or just a bigger question, or you just want to write something else, go over to thenerdparty.com/contact, choose a show, choose Aggressive Negotiations, and that'll come to John and I, and we'll be able to talk to you about that. And so, John, while we were in San Francisco together, meeting each other for the first time, as everybody's heard over the last couple episodes, something Star Wars came out there online, and I wanted to talk through it with you because Star Wars Forces of Destiny that was announced at Star Wars Celebration finally started dropping on YouTube.
Yes, Forces of Destiny. This was something that I kind of knew was coming, but still caught me by surprise. Like it literally was something where we got back, and I was like, "Oh, that thing, yeah, okay." I think it's possibly because I'm a little bit older, so I'm not as hip and with it as the young kids, and so I don't spend as much time on YouTube. So
yeah, I really don't either.
Caught me a little off guard there. And I was too wrapped up with dank memes, I guess. But, the first thing I did when I got reminded, I was like, oh, yeah, let me go watch that. And it's really interesting because I've really been itching to talk to you about it because I have definite impressions of it. Like my very first impression of it, and I want to bounce this off of you, is that the brief format, the quick storytelling, very much reminds me of Tartakovsky's Clone Wars series, the first one.
Yes, first season where it was legitimately, 3 minutes each?
It was 3 minutes an episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it very much feels influenced by that, but it's still a little bit. I mean, it's different. It definitely has its own feel and its own flair. And so I want to ask you what you think of the animation style, the style that they chose for this series.
I thought that it actually works, and mainly I think the reason that it does is because of the shortness of the episodes.
Mm-hmm.
You focus on what's really important in the episode, which is usually the characters, and not the crazy backgrounds or anything like that. You really are meant to be there with the character in those moments that they're having, and it's not as much about everything else. And so I actually think that the storytelling is made all the better just because of the simpleness of the animation, and the animation itself I find kind of beautiful. I mean, there's some frames you can pull out that are just really gorgeous Star Wars style frames of a character against a backdrop, whether it's Rey on Jakku or a picture of Ahsoka in a fighting pose, or there's a great moment with the Ewok village that just looks it almost looks like a concept painting, by Macquarie. So, I mean, I think there are really a lot of great Star Wars influences in here, and it's just another fun way to explore the world of Star Wars. And 2D animation is something that's just been kind of lost, and it can be so beautiful. And so I really I personally am really enjoying the work that they're doing here.
I'm enjoying it very much in terms of the framing. I think that there are definite moments where I agree with you, where like you could freeze it and just take that frame, and it's like that. It's this wonderful story of influences, through time. Like there's almost like a postmodern style to it that has hints of Scooby-Doo and hints of Tartakovsky, to mention him again, and hints of a lot of different influences.
Yeah.
But what I think really works with the style and how bold the lines are, and sort of how simply it is done in a way, is the fact that this is on YouTube, and this really feels like an animation style that scales properly. It's not meant to be projected on, like an IMAX screen or something. This is something somebody can watch on their phone when they're waiting for the bus, or they're waiting to be dropped off at daycare, or they're waiting to pick somebody up at daycare. Daycare is really on the mind lately. But this is the type of thing where it's going to scale nicely on your mobile devices or your laptop. And if kids nowadays even use laptops anymore, Matt, I don't
Probably
know.
not. I mean, come on. We have iPads for that now, John.
That's true.
And I do have to say, I want to back you up, because I watched this on my Apple TV today on our, I think we have a 46-inch. I don't even remember. It's been so long since we've had it. But and I felt like it scaled nicely there, too. It looked really good. So I think you're absolutely right. This is kind of made to be in that home viewing area. But again, I think the animation, for the most part, just works really well to tell these type of stories. And I think you calling out the original Clone Wars from Tartakovsky is very smart, because those were great, and I think they are definitely trying to mimic that, and that's totally okay. Because those worked perfectly. And I think this is a fun way to kind of introduce smaller kids to Star Wars that trying to show a whole episode to Rebels, it might be hard to do, but like a 4-year-old watching 2 minutes is works really well.
Yeah, and I know that there was a conscious decision to focus on the women, the female heroes of Star Wars, and
Chewie. Chewie gets some love.
But Leia, Leia's sort of the focus of that one, I'd say. But although Chewie does get, I will say I'll give a lot of credit. But this is derailing off from where I was going. But I like the fact that there's also something that very much evokes what they did. Believe it or not, the Droids cartoon from the 80s also had a companion comic book series, And the comic book series was obsessed at a certain point with telling Star Wars from the point of view of the actual film. I think it was a 3-issue arc where they told the story of Star Wars from the droid's point of view. And so it was like these in-between moments between the moments you knew. And like the Echo Base episode of Forces of Destiny and the Jakku stuff very much evokes that. And I like the fact that we finally got a hint of additional Wampa action.
Yes.
Yes. Like that's pretty cool, man.
That's legitimately basically the deleted scene that
right.
they kind of showed us of why that room was blocked off, why you wouldn't want to go in there.
And I think that was really slick. They didn't feel the need. This is what I particularly applaud. Is I sit there and now in my head canon this fits into that place. But they didn't feel the need to have somebody put the big yellow sticker on it and be like, I sure hope 3PO doesn't tear this off because, it doesn't, need to. But I do like that. I like that they found those places. But overall, the most successful stuff in the series, I won't lie, and I don't know whether this shows a special tender loving care on the part of the creators of the series or not, but the Ahsoka stuff is really, that's the stuff that's really popped out for me. Like, I came alive during those Ahsoka moments because, number one, I was just thrilled to see the character in action again. But I really felt like there was a special fire in those episodes. Did you feel the same way? Did you feel they were all of equal energy? I mean, but for me, or are you like me where, the Ahsoka ones just seem to have a little more oomph to them?
The one that specifically stands out to me is the Padawan path with Ahsoka, where she's getting the extension to her braid, and she's late because she ends up saving some people on Coruscant. And there's some wonderful moments. And what it is, too, is it's this Clone Wars reunion because you got Matt Lanter back as playing Anakin. You've got Tom Kane doing Yoda. And you've got Ashley Eckstein back as Ahsoka. And I think it's so much like falling back into one of those wonderful Clone Wars episodes that it does bring something special to me. And it does bring something out. And then I absolutely, the imposter inside with Ahsoka and Padme together, which I always enjoyed when they were together in episodes because I thought that was really fun seeing the two different women in Anakin's life.
No, I think you're right because imposter inside, I want them back together, but it also made me I want a standalone. I want a book. I want something because you're absolutely right. These are the two women who represent the exact lifestyles that Anakin cannot decide between. And it's amazing to see how well they mesh, how alike they are as opposed to how different. And it's something that is extraordinary to see. But I mean, the thing is, I'm fully aware of the fact that being a Clone Wars junkie and an Ahsoka fan, I'm going to have that reaction. So let's table the Ahsoka ones. What would be your number two? Or I guess, I mean, if we go with tennis rules and you have two number ones and the next one is number three, but we'll just say number two. Like, what's coming in right after that?
Yeah, honestly, to me, the episode that I just really loved after that was Bounty of Trouble with Leia and Sabine. I thought that was a really fantastic episode. One, it made a lot of sense in the Rebels timeline. It was really cool to see the fact that Leia, while in the Senate helping the rebellion and the way they're doing it, like she stages this, quote unquote bounty hunter, mix up and everything. And it really worked so well. And I have to say, seeing Sabine and Leia work together, there was some special feels there with that. It was really cool.
I also loved just the acknowledgement on the part of when Sabine throws her paint bomb and the trooper's like, oh, they got the senator. And then the one sitting in the corner goes, is this paint?
Yes.
Like it's such a quick throwaway moment, but it's It's so real. It roots it so nicely. And I think to speak to a point that you've made, this is Star Wars for a younger audience. You've got to be able to plug into a certain mindset and a certain feeling watching it in order to truly enjoy it. And the funny thing is, I was very lukewarm on it overall until we've started having this conversation, and I'm realizing there are so many things about it I do like. And one of the things I do like is the more that they can give us of these characters, but also in particular, I'm not going to lie, anything involving BB-8, because recently as an experiment, because I said, you know what? I remember loving R2. I have a very young child in the house, as you know, very young. And she's never experienced, like, Star Wars is not something she's ready to experience yet. But what I did was I played some BB-8 stuff for her to see, how that would play. And I can tell you, with the really young kids, they light up. BB-8's voice, his movements, everything like that, they light up for that droid the way that I used to light up for, or still do light up for R2-D2. That cannot be dismissed. And so are they going to continue? I'm legitimately out of the loop on this. Are they going to continue Forces of Destiny? Is this going to be something that's going to be an ongoing installment series?
I don't know. I'd have to go back and reread the announcement that they made at Celebration. There was an actual announcement on the StarWars.com website that anybody can go find, but I legitimately don't know. I do think that they have maybe a whole season of these. I don't know how many there are supposed to be, but obviously it doesn't take them that long to record with, so for an hour with, say, Daisy Ridley or, Felicity Jones or even Ashley, you can get in probably 10, 15 episodes, honestly, if you wanted, of things they want to do. I mean, the lines that they have, it doesn't take all that long. So I wouldn't think. And so I would hope that it does continue because, I remember the first Rey episode, which is the Sands of Jakku. I wasn't like blown away by it, but actually now that I've gone back and rewatched it, and the fact that it has the connection with the next episode with the BB-8 bandits, I like this little two-parter. It's so much fun. This is the adventure of Rey and BB-8 before they get to Nema Outpost, and it was just like it was cute and it was fun, and it gives you more, like you said. I love Rey and I love BB-8 from The Force Awakens, and they gave me my two favorite things with a tiny little adventure that kids are going to love, and I just love being back with those characters too, because, BB-8's super cute.
Yeah, nice impression. I like that. That's nicely done. My youngest would be thrilled. She truly would. And it's so if they go forward with this, if they, let's say this becomes a long-term thing, what do you want to see come out of it? Do you want to see them continue these specific arcs, or are there other things you want to see them bring into the mix?
One of the things that I think they're doing well is just finding those little moments where it is fun to explore. I specifically am thinking of the moment with the Ewoks and Leia. Like, so cute. I mean, just adorable. And then to find out, they give you the little, like, this is how she gets her dress. Like, they give her this as a gift for helping save some Ewoks from some stormtroopers. And it's really, I can't stop saying the word cute, but that's just what it is. And I would love to continue just to kind of see them add those little bits, like, this is how this happened in Star Wars, for this female character. Yeah. And I think you can really open that up to, like, we've got other female characters, too, that I'd love to see. Like, what about Hera? What about adding in maybe a Satine? Or, I mean, there's all these great female characters. What if you did one with Mon Mothma and Hera and Leia? And, I mean, like, there's so many different places that you could add in different characters that I think would be really enjoyable to see And so you really do have, when we're talking about 2.5 to 3 minutes, there's a lot that you could really have fun with this. So
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that I think the interesting thing to me is that I think that they could even open themselves up if this were to continue going. Who knows? But let's say they all fall in love with it and they say, you know what, this is something we should really keep doing. Can you imagine if they took the opportunity to parse out some of what happened between Jedi and Force Awakens in this manner? That would be a serialized type of multiple plotline story arc that could really work in this format. Like just 3 minutes here or there, the same way that it's been going, where you can watch the episode on its own, but like the Rey and BB-8 ones, when you watch them, you go, oh, okay, I'm starting to see a little bit more of the dots being connected here. So maybe they're experimenting. Maybe this is the type of space where they could go and give us that more, I don't know, meaty canon, as it were, as they go through.
yeah, that would be really interesting. And I'd love for the next series that Dave works on to be animation set between episodes 6 and 7, and really focused on Luke. But having a shorter format like this could totally work. I could see that working.
Yeah.
So I didn't even ask you, what was your like third favorite? Obviously, we talked about the Ahsoka episodes, but what was the one that was it Sabine that?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was the same one. It was the same one. I would say that okay. So our top three are all the same. I mean, the Ewoks one sort of edges out Beasts of Echo Base. I thought it was funny that a Wampa was using Chewie as sort of like a stuffed animal.
Like a stuffed animal, yes.
Yeah, it was like Chewie was a teddy bear. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. But what edges out the Ewoks one is the fact that there almost seems to be a residual Lucasness about it, because the stormtroopers are obviously a sort of reimagining of the robot guards from THX 1138. And when we encounter the stormtroopers with the Ewoks, one of the troopers cites an Imperial code that they're violating to the Ewoks. And it's such an absurd moment, but you realize that those little absurd moments are really what makes Star Wars work as a whole. It's those little tiny moments where you're like, wait, what are they doing? It's really fun, I think. And I wind up, I mean, seriously, as we've talked about it, I wind up giving this series much higher marks than I thought I was going to, because I really am sort of tickled thinking back on these things. So,
well, and one of the things that you are bringing to mind that I thought was actually kind of creepy was that the other stormtrooper says in that episode, I'm surprised the Empire just didn't wipe these things out. Right. Like, he's talking about these primitives, and he's talking directly about these Ewoks, and it goes to show the creepiness of the Empire in that one statement, like that this is their MO, this is what they do with these primitive quote unquote characters, and I thought that's something that is tough. It's a great introduction to kids of the badness of the Empire. If they're old enough to get that line in any way, shape, or form, they kind of have their introduction to how bad the Empire is. And so,
how blasé that the troopers can be with these atrocious acts. It's one of those things. I like the fact that you're focusing in on that, because it actually reminds me of a lesson from a Simpsons episode where. This is, I know it's crazy, but there was this one where Bart accidentally introduces this lizard that's eating all of the birds, and so and it's this one, and so to get rid of the lizard, they have to bring in these other animals, and then they're going to bring in these other animals, and it's just like this chain of destruction, and it all starts because Bart won't let them kill the one, but then it was on a larger scale, and the whole reason it reminds me of that is because you watch Alderaan get destroyed. You watch Jeddah get pummeled. And you see these things, but it's on such a scale that it becomes an abstract. And it's like when you hear about a giant, the volcano wipes out Pompeii in AD 79 or something like that. It's on such a scale that you can't really comprehend it. And so you're right, that one line of the trooper saying, why didn't we just wipe all of these things out? It brings it down to such a personal level that you realize how horrific a thing he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just a thing. He's like, well, why don't we just kill everything here? It's like, whoa, hey, slow down, man.
Well, and the one that seems like it's maybe the silliest, the one with Jin, and the Tuca cat. When you realize that there's an imperial code for like against pets, for people, you're like, really? Like that's how fascist we are as the Empire? Like, no pets. Like it's insane. And I think it's that one was another place where it was just like, man, this really goes a long way of showing the Empire as just being this really brutal, awful place where people are getting their pets taken away for no good reason.
Well, the thing is, what's funny is we're having this conversation about Forces of Destiny, and it's bringing to mind all of these other discussions I want to have here on Aggressive Negotiations now about, the Imperial Code and like how the very nature of the Republic made it possible, and so like it set up the machinery for it, and then talking about that one line from the trooper. So I think Forces of Destiny deserves even higher marks than I thought, because I think I'm coming out of this with a lot of topics for our future episodes, Matt.
Yeah. No, I think, the thing about this show is, look, legitimately it is, and George said this at Celebration, Star Wars is for kids. And this is a show specifically for little kids. We're talking 3 to 5 to 6. That's really what we're talking about here. And it is also specifically designed to capture the imagination of girls, who generally have been some that have been neglected in Star Wars. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing this, because it's also a great thing for any boy or girl to be able to watch and to see these characters. Because I think it does showcase, Rey, Ahsoka, Jin, Leia, Padme. These are great characters, and it shouldn't matter what the sex of the character is for me to be able to appreciate them, enjoy them, see their strengths, learn from them. And that's the thing that I really like about this. And so, yeah, I do give this high marks for what they're trying to do, and find a way to bring in that younger generation, and have some fun doing it. The one thing that I would say that I would like to see is maybe, use these as like little tiny morality tales, and just really drive home some of that. And I think some of that's in there, but I think it would be kind of cool to see that be a little bit more of a focus, and really make this something that, anybody just kind of wants to show their kids, because it's reinforcing good morals and proper behavior as you're a growing child into an adult. So
I agree with you on that, where I think what I would like to see is a little bit more of a, to use the term that Lucas himself loved so much, the tone poem structure, and maybe we will see that over time if this continues and everything, is the mirroring of, here's a Leia episode, oh look, later here's an Ahsoka episode that echoes that. Oh, I see. These two things echo each other, and see those things sort of echo out. Now the thing is, I want to go back and rewatch these, but I really do want to see that be even more emphasized.
Yep.
I mean, you could make the argument that like the Echo Base one and Jin's, I can't recall the title off the top of my head right now, but
The Stranger,
like there's sort of an echo there, but like I want to see something more cleanly defined, and I think that plays into your idea of, a little bit more of a morality tale, not just events that happened, but like what is this? What is this telling me?
Yeah.
What is this trying to teach as well as entertain?
Right. And I think, in the end, when we think back through Star Wars, that's what it's always done, from the beginning. That's what George said his idea was. And so I think this is the perfect way to do it. And this has been a great, fun start to this for Forces of Destiny. So, I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about it. It's just been really fun. To get to do that today, John, and if anybody wants to catch up with you and talk more about their favorite moments from Forces of Destiny or things that they'd want to see in the show or ideas or anything else Star Wars, where can they catch up with you online?
Oh, just look for Kessel Junkie. That's me, and you can find me. When I'm not on Aggressive Negotiations. You can find me also here on the network co-hosting Great Shot Kid with Mike Schindler, where we look at the work and inspirations of Star Wars creators through time. And then you can find me also with Mike Schindler over on the Trek FM network co-hosting Stage 9, where we do that for Star Trek creators. You can find me co-hosting Wars with Nerds with my pal Craig, where we do our thing, man. And we make you laugh, and you might just learn a thing or two. So, you can check that out as well. But, Matt, if there's anything we hate, it's being remiss. And I would be remiss if I did not ask you in turn, where can people find you online?
Well, John, I would be remiss if I didn't tell them. You can find me on Twitter at MattRushing02. I'm over on Instagram at MRushing. I'm here on the network doing Owl Post with Drea Kaufman, walking through each and every chapter of Harry Potter, so make sure you check that out. We're right there in the middle of Book 2, The Chamber of Secrets. I'm over on the Trek FM network as well, doing Aggressive Negotiations, doing the 602 Club, which is our general geek show. I hope that you will check that out, enjoy it. We have so many episodes on so many different topics. I think it's just a great place to hang out. You can also find me on The Orb with Chris Jones, where we're talking about Deep Space Nine. And then I have one more show where I am talking about film through the lens of faith. It's called Cinema Stories, and I'm really enjoying that show. And if that's something that you're interested, I hope you'll check that out. And you can find all of those shows anywhere that you get your podcasts. But we highly encourage you to go to Apple Podcasts and give us reviews on any of John or my shows. So thank you so much for joining us today. And John, I think there's only one thing left to say. I think it's time to close negotiations.
Matt, negotiations are closed.
Join the revolution. Join the Nerd Party.